What I'm going to say isn't meant to prevent you from returning home. You can go wherever you want as far as I'm concerned. But I want to talk about how you've treated me and how I've treated you. Let me start with my father, Philip. When he found you, you were simple peasants living in huts, herding sheep on the mountains, barely able to defend yourselves. Under him, you started living in cities, with good laws and customs. He transformed you from slaves into rulers over the very barbarians who used to raid your lands. He conquered most of Thrace, securing the best harbors for trade and prosperity, and he made the mines productive. The Thessalians, who used to frighten you, are now under our rule. The Athenians and Thebans, always ready to attack Macedonia, are now so humble that they no longer demand tribute from Macedonia, but instead rely on us for protection. My father went to the Peloponnese and restored order there. He was then appointed supreme commander of all the Greeks for the campaign against the Persians, an honor not just for himself, but for all Macedonians. This is what my father Philip did for you. It was great, but what you've gained from me is even greater. I crossed the Hellespont. Despite the Persians still controlling the sea, I defeated the satraps of King Darius and made you rulers of Ionia, Aeolus, Phrygia, and Lydia. I took Miletus by siege, and the rest of the land surrendered willingly, making their wealth yours. All the riches of Egypt and Cyrene, which I acquired without a fight, are now yours. Syria, Palestine, Mesopotamia, Babylonia, all are now yours. The wealth of Lydia, the treasures of Persia, the jewels of India, and the lands beyond the sea, all yours. You are now great rulers, satraps, generals, and captains. What have I kept for myself, apart from this purple cloak and diadem? Nothing. No one can accuse me of hoarding riches. Everything I have, I hold in trust for you. And what would I do with more anyway? I eat what you eat, and I rest no more than you. Many times I've stayed up at night so that you could sleep soundly. Who among you can claim to have worked harder for me than I have for you? If any of you have scars, show them to me, and I'll show you mine. There isn't a part of my body, at least on the front, that doesn't bear a wound. My body is covered in scars from all kinds of weapons, for your lives, your glory, and your wealth. Yet here I am, still leading you, conqueror of land and sea, rivers, mountains, and plains. We've celebrated together, shared in weddings. Many of your children will be cousins of my own. I've paid off your debts without asking how you got them, even though you're well paid and pillage every city we take. Many of you wear golden crowns, symbols of your courage and honor given by me. Anyone who died gloriously was buried with full honors. Many are immortalized by bronze statues in Macedonia, and their families are honored and pay no taxes. Under my command, no one has died fleeing the enemy. Now I wanted to send back some of you who've been wounded, crippled, or grown old, to be welcomed back home as heroes. But since you all want to go, then go. Go home and tell them that your king, Alexander, conqueror of Persia, Media, Bactria, and Scythia, who now rules over Parthia, Chorasmia, and Hyrcania, as far as the Caspian Sea, who crossed the Hindu Kush, the Oxus, and Tanais rivers, even the Indus, the first to cross it since Dionysus himself. I would have crossed the Hyphasis, too, if you hadn't been too scared. I sailed into the Great Sea from the mouth of the Indus, and I crossed the Gedrosian Desert, where no army had ever ventured. I took Carmania while my fleet sailed the Persian Gulf. When you get home, tell them that when you reached Susa, you abandoned me and went home, leaving me under the protection of the foreigners we had conquered. Perhaps your story will be seen as glorious by men and gods alike.